Look at the scene out there. Lots of people here down at Del Mar Fairgrounds, and here we are. I'm Jeff Baldwin. This is Gary Linden, and we have a guest, Dan Mann from Air Corps Blanks, right?
Inside Blanks, yep.
Inside Blanks.
Yeah, and so the gist of our whole thing is to have a carbon structure on the inside, like a miniature snowboard, inside the blank that anyone can buy and shape, any shaper could use and produce their design around. Instead of a wood stringer, it would be a carbon structure on the inside of the board.
And going with that, you've obviously ridden lots of them and making the prototypes. Do you find the flex patterns quite a bit different than balsa stringers or carbon rails? I mean,
yeah. So what I've always wanted to do since I've ridden my first carbon board, the first carbon board I ever did, I glassed it with a real light EPS core, and I glassed carbon around that. And ever since that board, I've been wanting to produce that sensation of carbon driving not only the load up of the board, but the spring back and the way the board comes back quickly is what I'm trying to harness and to control, and have it be a soft or a medium or a stiff flex. And by doing it on the inside of the board, you can create a situation where you're not glassing carbon fiber. You can standardize and keep consistent the difficulties of a glass job and keeping them neutral, and not adding another variable like you would if you were to glass carbon fiber in mass production. It would be very difficult. So by having the carbon on the interior, you're accomplishing carbon driving the way the board bends and comes back, and you're taking away the hassles of working with it on the outside. On top of that, you have the structure of the board not slaved to the external shape of the board. So if you glassed a big thick board with carbon fiber, it'd be stiff as a board. If you glassed a thin one, it'd be too bendy. So you can control that factor through the part on the inside that's in the middle of the blank there.
I just don't know how you actually blow the carbon inside the blank. I know that it's EPS blank,
It's EPS,
right?
so it's a series of cuts and vacuum bag process that gets it. Yeah.
So you don't actually blow the foam around it. Okay.
No.
so yeah, what I was wondering is, you've obviously done all this R&D to get the correct shape profile. It looks like it's about 1/4 of the size of the real board, or something like that.
Yeah.
But you must have gone through different shapes to come to that final template.
Yeah. So if you were to cut it in half and look at the cross section, it's scallop shaped so that the top part is curved. It's about 1 inch thick, and they vary. We've been switching around, but it's settling in to be about 12 inches wide. And the carbon goes across that arc. And that arc is key, and that was a big part of the research and development phase of getting that curve to dictate what the carbon's actually going to do. If you laid that carbon flat, it'd be like a sheet of metal. It'd be blah, 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 and then as soon as you corrugate that sheet of metal, it becomes corrugated wall. And the same effect happens with the carbon. By making it a compound structure, a compound curve, it creates a lot more structure in it. You don't want too much because you want the board to bend. And everyone's changing design and changing shape, like we were just talking about with Tomo. But there's a profound effect to the sensation of surfing caused by the flex of the board. And we all know that. Anyone who's surfed a lot and surfed a board into the ground and had to hang it up because it's dead, it feels like a wet noodle, that's the board bending but not coming back anymore. That's a whole bunch of microfractures that have happened in the polyurethane foam or the expanded polystyrene foam and the glass, and it's just failed. And the load of the bend is put into those structures that have broken or been broken down, and that's why the board stops having that pop, that liveliness. And so by having the carbon inside, you have the longevity of that flex pattern put into the hands of carbon fiber, which is a really high performance and long-lasting structure material.
The thing I like about it is you've got the weight and the strength in the center. The problem I've always had with the EPS boards is the weight's on the shell. so it doesn't give it forward direction.
Right.
And that was really a problem. So this is really interesting for me because it's right in the middle, so it acts like a stringer, gives it some direction. And then, like you said, there's not so much chance of a loss of memory because it's flexing inside and it's not exposed to the elements.
Right.
Because that
Exactly.
sunshine and cold is
Heat,
it's expand and contract, expand and contract. Every turn, every cutback, and there's a certain limited number.
Yeah, finite.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other thing about that is the EPS in and of itself is not a structure as much as polyurethane is.
No.
So guys say, yeah, EPSs are floaty or they're corky. And I would say, yeah, it's because it's not supported, it's not structured like a PU is in and of itself. So by carrying I call it the brain, by carrying that out closer to the rail, you have support and structure out towards the rail that EPS doesn't necessarily have in and of itself. And more, trying to mimic what a polyurethane with a wood stringer, I mean, everyone's had a magic PU with a wood stringer. They're insane. It's a great thing, but there's always somewhere you can go to improve that with consistency and value for the end users and repeatability. And that's what I think you can best achieve with carbon fiber.
So are you distributing with lots of the board brand manufacturers
Yeah,
so
so
far?
I just partnered up with Futures Fins, and we're offering it to any surfboard manufacturers, and we're going to start. It's just brand new start.
So it's just brand new. I just know Matt Viola seems to gravitate to working with everybody. He, you know, he's just.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are.
Yeah.
Intrigued by something new and want to give it a shot.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the idea, is to get other shapers, not like, you know, it's been a small group that has been buying it from me. I've been using it on my own little brand, and I think the most exciting thing will be, like what you say, is that when other shapers with totally different concepts and different concerns come in and address what we're trying to do, it'll just get better, you know.
So each blank is custom made then, right? So your tolerance will be consistent. You're going to leave an inch or something?
Yeah, they're customizable. There's going to be a set rocker schedule for anything under 6'9" right now. And you know, if you needed to tune it, you know, more quarter-inch in the tail or whatever, less in the nose, we can adjust for that. But yeah, there's 7 blanks right now. 6'4" and under, there's 5, and then there's 6'8" and a 6'9", different rockers. And widths, because it's EPS and it's cut, widths aren't a problem, and thicknesses can be kind of whatever too. So, yeah.
Were you going to show us some stuff? You had the blank over there. I
sure.
wasn't
no,
sure.
I mean, they just wanted to have a little,
okay.
Little eye candy for everybody.
You weren't going to give it the flex?
Yeah, you can just see that. You can show the compression. So what I'm trying to get is the way the board comes back up at the.
All right, cool. I didn't know how far my.
The load is one thing, and how much the board bends down, and if you see how it comes back up, that's the main thing I'm trying to control. This is a medium, a little on the firm side.
You know, when I was working at Walker Foam, I used to go up and sell blanks to everybody, and Al Merrick was one I learned most from. And he put the blank up, shaped blank like this, and he put it up against the wall and push it in and watch it spring back. And he goes, well, this blank's good, this stringer's the one I want. And I was sitting back there, this has got really nice memory, and yeah, interesting.
Well, and again, you know, by orienting the carbon, by changing the shape of the internal structure, you can make the compression and the spring back kind of infinite. You know, you can make it whatever you want. So if he did do that and said, no, I want it to be quicker, you can easily change the pattern of the carbon on the inside to get that effect.
And so you were saying you call this the brain, the inside of it. Do those come in different densities? Like, let's say you're making something for Hawaii or other types of waves?
You'd have a different layer on the top and the bottom.
Right.
So for the medium, we have 4 ounces of dry carbon fiber that you can orient in different ways to get to get the bend that you want. And if you wanted it to be more bendy, you could reduce that amount of carbon, or you could change the way the part is shaped to get it to be like a corrugated wall, sheet metal. It has those radical curves in it. If you neutralize those, it would become more bendable, and you can do the same effect with the curve of the deck.
So there's a lot to come, it sounds like.
Yeah, there's a lot of different combinations.
Hand layup or vacuum bag?
Vacuum bag.
So you're using on table, and that's why you got the stock rocker.
Right.
But you can.
But you can manipulate all that stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, Dan Mann, is there a website? You said it's just starting up?
rideinside.com, or Google my name or Inside, INCIDE.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be successful.
Fresh out of the mold? Because it looks like a high
this
saturation of resin content.
It came straight out of the mold, but it's been around a while. It's been beat up and everything. So.
But you've got a lot of resin for vacuum bagging.
It was with a plastic sheet over it, so we didn't have a breather or anything. We just left it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Dan.
Yeah, no worries.
Exciting.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
Cheers.
Good luck with the show.
All right.
All right. Really interesting, Gary.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you might be working with those.
Well, you never know.
Well, here we are at the Boardroom Surfboard Show, and we're going to go to a commercial break here shortly, and when you come back, we'll be with you again, or it might be Todd Klein and Dave Stansfield with Matt Biolas.